Welcome to the Embodiment podcast. This show is for you if you see the body as more than a brain taxi. It's for people interested in coming home to the body as a holistic aspect of who we are and how we live. Episodes contain practical tips, exercises you can take away, and interviews with specialists from around the world. I'm your host for today, Mark Walsh. Okay, so this is a special podcast. It's taken me a bit of time to put together, but I managed it. It is a series of embodied coaching sessions. So most of these sessions were done, they were all done virtually, but most on Zoom, so like Skype with a picture. Though you'll be able to hear the audio, and I've sort of narrated where something wasn't obvious that you could see, though I do a lot of phone coaching as well. Basically, a lot of people have been saying to me like, hey, Mark, we get the theory. It's nice to hear the guests, but how do you actually work with people? And, my answer was, well, it depends. There's so many different methodologies you can use. And I employ a lot of different tools from many of the different teachers you hear on the podcast. So I thought, you know what, rather than kind of just do one person, I do a bunch of different people. And I've deliberately selected there's men and women, there's people of different nationalities, different ages, different jobs. Some of them have done loads of embodied work, know me really well. The EFC student you'll hear, for example, someone from EFC Russia, EFC UK. You'll also hear people that have done a little bit of work with me, but are more sort of normal people, and someone I'm literally just meeting for the first time. So they're all completely natural. I didn't cut any, I didn't edit any. The only conversations I've had ahead of any of them were literally maximum 3 minutes. I just put a shout out on Facebook saying who wants a 20 to 30 minute coaching session. So they're all really short. They're all under 30 minutes. It's amazing actually what you can get done in that time. When people are focused, when people know it's a short session, when people turn up, they valued the time. They saw it as an opportunity to really go for it. I mean, my coaching is normally relatively expensive. So I think a few people jumped at the chance, which was nice. And, everyone showed up and they were good to go. I'd emailed them ahead of time saying, hey, can you give me some idea of the subject? Just making sure they had something practical. I explained to all of them beforehand, hey, you don't want to do anything. You don't have to. Be aware that unlike normal coaching, it isn't confidential. This is going to be online. I still gave them a sort of veto if anything came out. But in the end, I didn't, none of them asked for that. And, they were all actually really happy. So they actually got something of value from it, which I think you'll hear on them. I think some nice examples here. I'm using centering, I'm using 4 elements, I'm using things a bit more esoteric. There's some traditional coaching in there. I'm sure some people will say I talk too much or object to this or object to that. But at the end of the day, the client found them useful in all cases. So I hope that speaks for itself. If you're a coach, take away any of those techniques. These obviously embodied facilitator course techniques, a bit of embodied yoga principles. And it's something about actually real examples that haven't been edited, that are, all straight there. I haven't cut a single one. They're all there. So, enjoy those. And it's just nice to offer something a bit different, a bit practical, as well as the interviews we do. So it's a bit of a taste. It's by no means all the techniques I would use. And I kind of trying to have a bit of a spread of some of the things I use, being a little directive, but ultimately I wanted to serve the clients and their needs. So kind of go with the flow in most cases. So enjoy. Okay, so joining us now is Ken Gilbert. So Ken is a personal trainer and natural movement specialist from Belgium. I've literally just met him. He found out about this coaching opportunity on Facebook. And you've sent me a couple of ideas, Ken, before this session about something you'd like to work on. What's top for you right now, something you'd like to get from this?
Well, it made me think. Of course, it wasn't easy to directly say, "Oh, let's work on that," because it's not a full-on coaching session. But actually, this week I was struggling with something. For me, probably I can you relate to this a little bit. When I was young and had to go to school, soon discovered I had something with authority. I don't like so much to be told what to do, especially when it goes into a system. And that's also one of the reasons why I'm my own boss and like to plan my own day. So, but this reflects sometimes in my teaching as well. Because, since I don't like it, I don't like to force something upon people either.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes it's necessary to keep a certain structure and order. And I feel like I had the example this week, that sometimes it's chaos.
Right.
And then, okay. And then if you feel a little bit tired, and maybe I'm not always sure how to manage it and to react it. It worked out fine, so no problem. Nobody got hurt. I didn't lose my senses.
Sure. So I'm going to interrupt for a way to frame this.
Yeah, there might be quicker ways to deal with it, or easier options to choose from.
So what is it that you like?
So
what is it you would like? What capacity that you struggle with now? Is it the ability to be authoritative where necessary, without being a fascist, without hurting anyone, telling anyone what to do? But what I'm hearing is sometimes it would actually be useful to be able to step into that authority.
Yeah. It's actually, and sometimes it works out fine, but it would be good to have to know how to fall back on, sounding authoritative. Yeah,
authoritative. Yeah, it's a difficult word for me too.
Without people realizing it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So actually, in a diplomatic way, that you actually can basically make people realize, oh yeah, I have to listen now. This is important.
Got it. Okay, so I think we have a sort of shared starting point here. I don't like being told what to do either. And I always say to my coachees, just before I started recording, I said to you, didn't I? Hey, something you don't want to do, you don't have to do it. So, I think we're probably starting from the same sort of rough philosophy there. And the way I look at it with coachees is I don't ever tell them what to do. I say, look, would you like to build more range? Because sometimes it might be useful to step into that body of being authoritative. With me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Making sense?
Yeah.
So do you get that there is a body to being authoritative, right? Like a dog can feel this, a child can feel this. I used to work a lot with kids and they really sense it when you're in that authoritative mode. And sometimes that is not only not abusive, but it's actually kind. It's actually exactly what people can need to be able to actually take that on, and people can feel more insecure, and chaos or even accidents can happen without that. So, what I'm hearing is that might be a capacity for you to build.
Yeah. Also with kids, it's like you said, it's sometimes a fine line of being the right teacher or parent, or being a little bit of a dictator.
Right. So this would be, I'm hearing that maybe as a fear or something you don't want to do, right? You don't want to become, which is fair enough, right? So we want to differentiate. I was going to suggest we differentiate out in the body, kind of healthy authoritative mode. Like if people have come to your class, I feel like they give you that authority. They've said, hey, I trust you enough to pay you money to lead me in this exercise or this natural movement. And then between that kind of authority, which they're giving you freely, and you're really just saying, okay, I can own that, I can take that, and sort of dictator mode, which is a different embodiment, actually.
Yeah.
And until you can get that differentiation, my guess is you won't want to do authoritative, because you need to realize that that's different from dictator mode. So then you can say, I'm going to do this healthy version, not this unhealthy version. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
To make a clear line in your head, like, okay,
exactly.
For me, this is still according to their benefit rather than too much to my benefit.
Exactly.
Too much control and order.
Right, and it's a fine line. And there's a scale, right? Like, do I need more order now for everyone's benefit, or actually can we let the dog run on the leash, and have a bit more chaos, because that's fun too sometimes. And I think any class has that mix. Too much order becomes sort of like too controlled and not enough freedom. Too much chaos, it's not even safe. So you need to be able to move on the spectrum.
For me, the line is also when it's certain people of the group and it pulls the whole group into a tipping point that it's.
Or if you're doing something more dangerous, or, in our work, when we start hitting pads and things, we have to make it more authoritative just for safety. So it's a movable scale, and that's in your own body. So the good news here, Ken, is like you're a personal trainer. This is just a muscle to build. It's an emotional muscle. So in the same way as doing anything, it requires practice. So first, let's do that differentiation in the body. and then let's give you a few little practices that you can do, the sort of reps for you can work on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So dictator mode, let's go there first. So if you were like try not to go into comedy too much, which I know is tempting with this one, but how would you be if you're really like telling me what to do? If you were like, Mark, go make me a cup of coffee kind of thing, like really just like telling me without any regard for me, how would you be in your body then? Like do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Like right, like in your body right now.
So Mark, now it's time to get off of your chair, because it's gonna make you fat if you stay there any longer.
Right.
Just get up now, because I can't see it anymore.
This is your dictator
for the whole time of the conversation.
This is your dictator.
Yeah, this is my dictator.
Okay, it's very benign Belgian dictator so far. Like I reckon even turning up even more. Like I'm full permission. Like how would you be if you were like looming? Like sometimes for me it's like looming over. Like your center's gone. You're off balance. Try tightening your belly, tightening your jaw. Maybe wag your finger at me a little bit.
Okay. I'll give it my best shot.
And then, what's your first language? Flemish or French?
Yeah, Flemish.
Tell me in Flemish. Like get into it.
Come on, Mark. Ga van die stoel. Nu. Kom, sta recht.
That's much better. That's brilliant. What are you noticing about your balance and your muscle tone?
So, okay, now it's a little bit forced, of course, it's different.
We're playing.
Yeah, your body get tensed. Your body
got tense. Say I, speak for yourself, right? So you were noticing tension?
Yeah, tension and uncontrolled movement.
Uncontrolled movement, great. You know about movement, so that's a really good reference point for you. Now, let's try authoritative, but with balance, with controlled movement, and without tension. Actually, true authority is very relaxed. Mm-hmm. Think about it. If you've got real authority, you don't need to get tense.
But that's maybe the part of the issue, that I'm too relaxed of it.
So try relaxed but solid. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just to give you a little pointer here, with your tone of voice, go down at the end. So the opposite of that would be like, do you know what I mean? When you go up at the end and everything's a question, you see my eyebrows raising up? Yeah. Now, instead, try going down in tone.
Okay, Mark. Now, we've discussed this before. It's been long enough that you're sitting down.
Good. Keep your balance. You're wobbling. I can see you wobbling. Keep your balance.
It's time now.
Palm down like this.
Yeah.
Again, you're getting better. Keep going.
Okay, Mark. Now it's time. Let's get off the chair. You've been sitting down for so long, maybe the whole day. You can change your sitting position. That's fine. Would even be better if you stand up now and then. Might not see you anymore, but okay, we can work around this.
Okay, keep stop the wobble. Keep solid. So find your base of support. Your feet, however you're standing. And I've actually gone down because it will help you develop this. Like we naturally do this to children. So listeners can't see this, but I've actually lowered my position so you're looking down on me. Right? Yeah. This will just help you get that sense. Make sure your palm is down. And as you talk, you can gesture down and keep the voice going down. And you don't have to play voice, but let your voice be a little deeper than normal. So you might need to relax your belly, relax your throat. And this is why it will work on a dog, right? Dog doesn't understand the words. Yeah.
Okay, Mark. You're closer to the floor now. I like that. So now it's time to start thinking about different positions. You will really benefit from this. You'll work on your mobility.
Oh, that's good. That's getting much better. Now keep lowering the voice and lowering, like the intention is kind of going lower as well as the tone.
Automatically, you will also build more movement into your daily life.
Yeah.
After a couple of weeks, you will start noticing the difference.
Great. How's that feel?
Good. Okay. And there's less of a wobble now, standing still.
You see the wobble, right? Yeah.
It's actually the voice. You drop the voice and you get heavier, more like a
yeah. So the voice position. Go a little deeper by turning your hands, keeping and watching out for that wobble. Because as soon as you start doing that little wobble, everything comes up. And then that's great if you're like just being nice and friendly, like, this kind of energy. It's like, hey, but not this kind of energy. Yeah. So feeling your feet, relaxing your belly. I don't know if you want to write any of these down, because I've given you a few little pointers here that you can practice.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of a daily practice, like, is there something you buy every day, like a coffee or something like that? Like, is there something you go to the shop for, like buying milk or?
Only what we need to eat, but yeah.
Most days you go to the shop in some kind.
Ideally, we plan it out a little bit so you don't have to run for it all every day. So
okay. So my invitation to you is buy one thing every day, even if it's just gum or a bottle of water or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And actually practice this in that situation. Now, I'm not saying you go into a shop and be like, give me the coffee now, motherfucker. You don't have to go crazy on it, but just that authoritative, it might be, I'll have an espresso, please. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. No other words, no other wobbling. You're just saying what you can say please and thank you, but you're saying it in that authoritative way.
Sort of like an old army general that's been through war 50 years.
Well, if that image works for you, I mean, is there an archetype or an image of authority that's appealing? I mean, does that appeal to you, or is there another one?
No, it's just my mind that goes and directly put this. Some people, because you always want to reflect to something that you know. So it just popped up in my mind.
Yeah, it's natural that archetypes or sort of associations pop up, and we need to make it an association which is like in line with your values. Mm-hmm. So can you think of it as sort of an authoritative, it might be an animal, it might be something from films, like, is there a character or a quality that you can associate with this, so you can call it like, that mode? The military general might be a little bit more like the dictator. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It should be more something or someone that has that authority, but is very honest. So it's quite strict, but in a very to the point. Not exaggerated. Just like an honest way.
High integrity, honest way, yeah. And is there like a movie character, or is there some sort of natural image? I know you like natural movement. Is there some animal that has that, or some sort of natural image that comes to mind?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lion comes to mind, but I don't know any lion personally to see.
But do you have a resonance with that image?
So...
The key thing is, do you have a resonance with that image?
Well, I don't know it well enough for that, but so I don't know. I think I need to think a little bit further.
Okay, so have a think about that. You could message me like within the week if, maybe there's like some movie character like Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, or suddenly realize it's like, and you call it like mountain mode or arrogant mode, or whatever. It's just to give it a little label to help you access it. But so tell me let's recap the key kind of somatic pieces there. Mm-hmm. So just so I know you've got them, can you recap what are the things you're practicing?
So you want to relax your body, stay in control by lowering the voice and trying to sense what your body is doing. So feel the gravity pull on your body.
Great.
So you don't move around without... you realize it.
Yeah. So feeling your feet, feeling the gravity pull, so you're not wobbling and going around. You can use the hand gestures with the palm down as well. That will also activate. So these are all just different parts of the same pattern. Yeah. We also have an embodied yoga principles pose called authority pose that you could practice. Try that. Last thing before we wrap up.
Sure.
One more thing, if you wanted to practice this like 1 minute a day. So you're standing with your feet relatively wide, so not narrow but wide.
Like shoulder width? Or?
Exactly, shoulder width apart, but with a stride, so like a karate stance. Yeah, so this knee is bent, this one is straight. So you're in a long kind of stride stance. And the hands, put them on your heart first of all. And I think this is going to help you get the difference between the authority and the dictator, like the natural kind of kind authority coming from the heart. And then take the hands up. Fingers together, arms outstretched, and you're looking down slightly. That's nice. Relaxing the belly, feeling the feet, all the stuff we were doing before. So this is like the sort of embodied archetype. You wouldn't literally do this in life, right? It's too weird, but it gives you a felt sense of the archetype. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's good. It's probably best to practice behind closed doors.
Yeah, you may feel a bit embarrassed if someone saw one side they could get the wrong idea.
Yeah, but yeah, you could feel it. It's a powerful stance.
Yeah, and stay there for like 1 minute. And the key thing, a minute will seem like a long time. So you're building an emotional muscle here. So the key thing is to stay present to the feeling. Like you said, it was powerful. That is a feeling to it, right? Yeah. So you're staying present to that feeling for the full minute rather than, spacing out or watching TV or something.
Yeah, what do you do with your eyes? Just do you focus on one point, or do you look down a bit?
Like looking forwards and down. And breathing deeply in the belly, relaxing the body, feeling the feet, all the things we said before. Yeah? Okay. So there's a couple of practices you can take away. Sure. And if I was coaching you normally, we'd kind of check in about this next week and, see how they went and stuff like that. And we might have to adjust them, but there's the shop practice and then there's the stance, and that's just 1 minute a day, right? So I'm guessing you have some kind of morning practice routine anyway.
Yeah, I'll manage to fit it in.
Right, you got just tag it in into your, add it into your routine so it just becomes normal. And I'd say, practice that for a few weeks, 4 to 8 weeks is good, and then see if it starts showing up. And you might notice it starts showing up in your life in different ways.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so any questions for me?
I think I'll let it sink in, and and if there's any questions, I probably can contact you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for allowing this to be recorded as well. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much for the session. I really enjoyed.
Okay, so next up for coaching is Alonia, whose name I can't pronounce very well, but is from Russia, and we've met on the EFC course. So please tell me what the challenge is we're going to be working with.
Okay, so my challenge is to find support in some rest, in some interesting hobbies too, not only in being busy.
Okay, so as I understand it, you're a body therapist and you're very busy with that, and somehow you like that being that busy feels good, it feels relaxing somehow.
Yeah, I can't say I'm busy a lot, but it's only about my feelings. I'm really happy when I'm busy, and I'm not happy when I'm not. Something about that.
Okay, super interesting. Well, to some extent I can relate to that, and I think it's definitely one that's a common theme in the modern world. Yeah. Okay, so let's find that busyness in your body. So like when you're busy, what's going on? Are you like moving? How are you breathing? Like what's going on with that?
So this business is like I have a goal, an aim, and I feel like a horse running home or somewhere. So I'm, concentrated.
Got it. So you're putting your hands to the side of your head. So it's like, listeners won't be able to see it. So it's like there's like a narrow tunnel that's concentrated within. Yeah.
It's like a running horse, horse with this stuff on its.
Yeah, I see the blinkers, we call them. Yeah, okay. So the blinkers are on and you're looking straight ahead and you're running.
Yeah, and it's cool. And I feel strong and like I need to someone.
Like you're necessary, like you're of need, you're of use. Because it can feel really good to be useful, can't it? I understand that. Like, so you're heading down a direction, you know where you're going, there's no confusion, and you're useful.
Yeah.
You're taking action, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, no problem with that. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, the first thing is I don't want to make that bad. I can understand why that's enjoyable as a mode of being. Yeah. And is there a cost of doing that all the time?
Once again, please.
Is there some problem or cost with doing that all the time? You enjoy it? If it's is it healthy? Is it fine? I mean, is there a problem with it?
Yeah, it is problem when I understand that I'm trying to be busy, for example, 10 hours a day or 12 or 20 hours a day. It's okay for me, and I'm an adult person. I understand that no, this is not okay. I need to have a rest. I need to have a walk because it's summer in Moscow. I need to have some chatty chat with some friends or some books reading or something.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to, but I imagine it might be enjoyable or healthy too.
Yeah, I agree that we don't have to, but as an adult, with my brain, I understand then I will be more productive and effective in my job if I have my some other interesting hobbies, for example.
Yeah. Well, we need a rest if we're going to work well. So just from the point of view of productivity and effectiveness, it's necessary to rest, right? Like, maybe you've studied the cycles models before, where there's this natural cycle of spring, summer, and there's doing, but then there's also autumn and winter.
Yeah, of course. And I understand clearly that the most cool ideas I have, for example, in my gym with some stuff or in the shower. But I need, I have a strong discipline to go out of my work process, go to the gym or go to the shower or somewhere. So it's like a kitten with the, Alona, we're going to the gym.
You have to sort of take yourself there, yeah?
Yeah. I feel like.
So you're aware that you have these creative ideas. If you get out time for rest, relaxation. By the way, the shower and the toilet are the two most common places people have their best ideas because they're relaxed.
Yeah.
You have to relax in these places, right? It just relaxes you. So, okay. So close your eyes a minute if you're happy to. And imagine taking the blinkers off. So those things to the side. Actually, kind of, put your hands up by your head and imagine just taking those off. A little symbolic thing, like widening up your vision a bit. Yeah?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And tune into your body.
The first thought I catch, it's about like I frozen and alone. It was interesting. When I get put out these blinkers, it's like, oh my God, this is the whole world, and I'm alone in it, and it's cold outside, and it's like scary or dangerous, something interesting.
So if you're willing, let's go explore that a little bit more. So if you're willing, because you've rushed straight out of it again, if you're willing to stay with it, of course you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You know my rules for coaching. So if you don't want to do something, you don't have to. But if you're willing to, let's go there again.
Okay.
So close your eyes if you're willing to. See if you can tune into that which naturally came up before. So it may be that there's keeping with your eyes forward and racing and rushing, that you're avoiding feeling something. It's just quite normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can make that action of taking those blinkers off. And if you imagine the horse slowing down, imagine the horse taking a rest, maybe eating some grass in a field.
I just feel inside this movement of the horse, when it's like some, I don't know, this like
shaking its head.
Yeah, thank you.
I can see it's fine.
So it's interesting.
Yeah. So relaxing the neck muscles and coming back. So like if you think normally you're rushing forward, maybe coming back in your chair a little bit, feeling the back of your own back on the chair. Yeah.
Like this, right?
Exactly. So instead of coming forwards, before you're at the front of the chair, now you can feel the back of the chair.
Mm-hmm.
And breathing so you can feel your breath go into the back of the chair. Becoming aware of the whole back surface of your body, the back of your head, back of your legs. Feeling how it is to be more back than forwards. Not so much rushing, but more back. So keeping your eyes closed, how is that? Is it weird? Is it fine? How is it?
I'm inside myself. I'm smiling because in my dance that I'm learning, it's called West Coast Swing. It's a couple social dance. The first rule for dancers is to stay behind, not forward, but in the back.
So it might be a good practice to help this feeling the backside rather than going to always forwards.
Maybe.
Now tuning into the center of the body again, maybe the kind of chest or the belly area.
Like this? Am I understand you right?
Yeah, but you're really just feeling into your own body. And when you're not rushing forwards, when you're resting, what else is there?
Maybe a little bit nervous because I'm not here, not forward, not back, and for me, maybe it's interesting position for finding my zero sense because here it's okay, it's too rushing, and here it's about relaxing, and I meditate a lot, and I know that we need to relax, and I learning how to relax a couple of years, and this is strange position. It's something new, it's like I'm in calm and in some zero position, but my legs are like ready to jump in a second.
You're right, so you're still in that ready position. Yeah. And is there any emotion that's present here that's ignored when you're rushing forwards?
No rushing forwards. It's it's like the answer will be like no emotions. It's zero and calm, and maybe my ears are growing bigger, so ears try to catch some signal to or to go back or to go forward. So it's like something growing.
Before you'd mentioned this feeling of being cold and alone. It's quite surprising you said that. Is that present at all here?
No, if I understood you right, in this position, I can't feel myself. I don't feel myself like frozen or scared. No, it's like zero, and this is okay. Not bad, not good. Just zero.
Maybe try going backwards and forwards a few times between the kind of rest position, what you're calling zero, and then this rushing position. So just very slowly and mindfully moving between those 3 points. Maybe one more time. It was just a little experiment. What came up for you doing that?
The one word in my mind, I forgot it in English, but I need to. I try to understand. In this position and in this position, back and forward, I feel like it is when someone wants me to do something. If you let me, I will translate this.
Sure. What's the Russian?
Насилие. I open my violence. Yes, of course, violence. It's like here some violence from Alona. Please take a rest. And here is some light violence, of course. Violence like hurry up.
Yeah, so it's some sort of mild abuse, some kind of pressure, like, oh, you have to rest or you have to do activity.
Yeah, pressure, abuse. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so even rest for you is almost like a kind of mild abuse. Like it's almost like, well, Alona, you have to, you should.
Yes, it is the main issue which I came to you with.
And my sense, it's almost strange for you to sort of not have the whip on the horse, you know, because like either whipping the horse to go forward or whipping the horse to rest. And it's like just to be at that midpoint you call 0 point seems a little unusual for you.
Yeah, this is no. Any horse is like me and 0 and.
Just you, no horse.
No horse. No
yeah,
horse.
that's good because you're not a horse. So, what's horse in Russian?
Loshet.
Loshet, I thought so. Yeah. Let's try a little bit of self-care pose. You know this pose? Yeah. So usually like a hug. One hand on the side of the body, one hand on the shoulder. And if you were really caring for yourself, not forcing yourself through activity or rest, but just, you know, there's a natural cycle, isn't there, of rest and activity. If we sleep for long enough, we want to get up and do something. If we do something, we want to go to bed, right? There's a natural cycle here. If we work, we want to go on holiday. If you're on holiday for long enough, eventually you start having good work ideas, you know? So if you were just taking care of yourself and in this kind of loving relationship rather than forcing the horse to do things, what would be different?
Sounds logical.
Pretty straightforward, right? But we get in habits. We get in habits that aren't logical. So it's okay to have habits.
It's all about patterns, and I recognize it, and it's okay with it. So just realize and practice every day.
So I don't want to give you like another practice to force yourself to do, huh? So what are the things from this position of kind of like self-care? What are the things to really be aware of?
Repeat, please.
Yeah, so rather than forcing yourself to rest or activity, if we came at it just from the point of natural cycles and self-care, kindness, you know, if we came at it from that point of view of kindness, like what would be different? I don't want to give you like another thing to beat yourself up over, you know?
Mm-hmm. So I feel the answer is like be more kindness to myself. It's not to push myself to the rest. If I don't understand that I need rest now, so maybe I should really go more deeper to this zero position, and maybe it is more honest. It is more honest for myself, not to abuse myself to have a rest. And you know, it is like back and forward, and
yeah, from one bit of abuse to another, and also like, you know, as an embodiment student, I know you're studying this work, to just tune into yourself and be like, hey, right now, do I need rest or sleep? Like, I went to sleep at 11 o'clock at night last night, which was really early for me, but my whole body was just exhausted after a day of teaching. I actually fell asleep on the couch and I went, oh, I should at least go to my bed. And so there's a real honest, like, tuning in to, like, okay, do I need rest now? Or, hey, maybe I want to get up early and I want to work, Like, that's okay too, right? I don't want to make work wrong or rest wrong. But actually, in the same way as, like, eating when you're hungry, Yeah,
it will be more honest, of course.
Yeah, or like falling in love. When you fall in love with someone, you don't force yourself to do it, right? You just go, oh, I really like this guy or this girl, and it's very natural, right?
Yeah, natural, you're right.
Yeah, so if you want to come out of the self-care pose now, feel free. And if listeners want to Google self-care pose, they can see the pose online on a YouTube video. But so just offering that as a sort of new orientation to rest and activity, that finding that midpoint and just, feeling into it. And you're an adult and you have responsibilities. So it's like right now, after this call, we're finishing the call soon. Do you want to work or do you want to rest? And yes, you may have a responsibility. You may need to adopt that. You have real life. But then I think that you're at least having that starting point of, well, I need to work for 10 minutes, but actually I really need a rest.
So, now I clearly understand that I have some special time for the rest, because today is a home day, I work at my home with my website or something. And maybe it is interesting. Maybe in this piece of time, I will hear my answer in my body that, okay, Alyona, thank you for attention, and now I'm ready for work.
Yeah, or rest, right? So it's maybe have that as a sort of daily check-in, like some space in your diary every day that you could rest or you could work. It's like, right now, do I really want to go for a walk in the park, or do I want to finish those emails? And coming from that still point of self-care and stillness rather than neurotic compulsion or forcing yourself. So it's just a different orientation to how you make those choices about rest and work.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's interesting. A lot of knowledge about here. A lot of knowledge about what I need to do, about my body and blah blah blah. But this difference between 0 point and a little bit abuse or pressure, it's cool. So cool.
Great. Well, I feel like that's a nice place to end, and sounds like you've got a new potential insight. And the practice there, if you want it, is just to have that time every day where you decide to rest or to work based on the feeling rather than based on, you're clever, right? You're a smart person. You've worked out some, nutrition plans and rest meditation plans and all the rest of it. But actually, like, the embodied way is just to kind of feel into it and decide from that place.
Yeah.
Okay. Спасибо большое. Wonderful little session. Felt like that was really good example for people as well. So in the middle, I was like, where's this going? I wasn't quite sure. And I just kind of trusted that you'd find somewhere useful. And I think in the end, we got somewhere. So nice to see you again.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you so
much. My pleasure. Приятно. Пока-пока.
Yeah.
Okay, the next coaching session was with Thea. So Thea, do you want to say a little bit about how we know each other and what you do for a living?
Yeah, I'm a student this year on EFC. I've witnessed Mark's work and really enjoyed it for a long time, and decided it was time for me to bring more of the body into the intuitive work that I already do with my clients as a coach and trainer.
Okay, so you're a coach and a trainer and you work intuitively.
Yeah.
All right. It's good for people to know you're an EFC student, just because there may be some things we refer to that they might be thinking, what the hell is that? Because some of the people I'm coaching on these calls, literally just met. So there's a bit of a spectrum here. Okay, good, Thea. So how can I help?
Well, something that's been bugging me recently that is having an impact on my business is I've noticed a pattern that I have of health, which is when I'm starting to take off in my business and also in my own bodily well-being, like really into my dance and it's having a good impact on my body, I hit an illness and it sends me back. And it seems to, I've noticed this happen a number of times. The recent one just going on for 7 weeks and I'm only just kind of crawling out of it. So it's kind of stopping me.
And it's happened a few times, because if it happened just once, we might say, oh, it's just bad luck, or, shit happens. But if something happens a few times, start to think, okay, is there some way that this is a pattern, or that I'm at least influencing this in some way?
It certainly feels like a pattern to me. It feels like something that kicks in unconsciously.
Okay, well, why don't we start with quick centering? Because I often find this is useful at the beginning of coaching sessions. So, some centering techniques. Do you want to lead us both through one?
Okay, cool. So just take a moment to become aware of what's happening in your body. Feel in. Notice your body, how it's aligned. Anything out of place, out of a sense of being cool. And then take a moment just to balance. Maybe sway a bit. Feel you on your sit bones. Feel your feet on the floor. And then we take time to just relax down the core. Relax your tongue, your jaw, relax into your belly. I go right down into my base chakra.
Nice ABC centering. So how would you restate what you want to get from this session, from that slightly more centered place?
From this place, I want vibrant health.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm kind of curious how to approach this. There's a few potential angles. And I think the first thing to say is I don't primarily see myself as a health coach. So obviously, embodiment and health touch upon each other. One way would be to look for different strategies for health. Another way would be maybe to explore this slightly deeper question of is there some sort of self-sabotage or something happening?
Yeah. My sense is there's self-sabotage happening.
Okay. And what makes you say that? Is it just that it's happened a few times, or is it some sort of feeling with it?
It's that it's happened a few times. There are maybe a few systemic issues, like I don't have a spleen, so that could be having an impact. But
I don't know enough about health to know, but I'm sure if it's in there, it's got a purpose normally.
Yeah. But for me, it's just the timing. When I got this illness, I really saw that before it, I'd been on a really nice kind of lift, and then bang, and I'm back. Feels like I'm back where I'm started.
Right.
I feel comfortable for aspects of me, but not where I really want to be going.
Yeah. So what's the payoff of that happening?
It keeps me small, keeps me very internal. One of the things I've noticed is when I'm starting to get public and make my presence felt in the world, that closes me down again, keeps my world limited, keeps my impact in the world from.
Well, that sounds like a bad thing. What's the payoff for that?
Oh, I see. I'd see it as a payoff for the bit of me that doesn't want to expand and light up the world.
Okay, so give yourself a little wriggle. And you can maybe close your eyes or you can open as you prefer. Can you shift into the body of that part of you? You're a fairly intuitive person, so we can go a little bit straight into it. Okay, so the shoulders are up, you're kind of shrunken down.
My hands are up here.
Okay, so from as that part of you, like it's a part of you. We all have that part of us, I'd say. What is that part of you saying?
It gets looked after. I'm looked after here.
So you're looked after from there.
Love and there's care. There's
okay, so that's quite nice to be looked after, yeah? Yeah. Okay. And now let's go into that body of being really big. So that big, expansive posture. You put the hands up, maybe stand up if you're able to there. I don't know if you're... They're really taking up space. Is it possible to get love and support and anything from here?
It starts with quite a nervous feeling in my belly as I take up the pose.
This is some nervousness of taking up space. That sounds natural.
As I sit in it actually expands the potential for love and connection, because there's a feeling I'm connected to more people here than here.
Oh, okay. Okay, so from that expanded place, what is it you want to say to So you can put the hands on the hips if that helps, a sort of Wonder Woman style, if the shoulders get sore. But from that expanded place, really expanding the awareness to fill the whole room, reaching out to the tips of the toes and the fingertips, what would you say to this part of you that wants that kind of care and love?
So it's a bit brutal, just say, go get it. Just go get it.
What I'm hearing is there's actually love and care more available here.
Yeah, it's out there. Go get it.
Okay.
And there's advices like, you don't need to be afraid.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's coming is you're not taking up other people's space by being here.
Got it. You're not dominating anyone. You're not abusing anyone in that way. Because that could be another reason to stay small, right? Like one is like, hey, I won't get love. And even if you're addressing that, now another one's coming up, which I'm hearing is something like, well, I don't want to take anyone else's space.
Yeah.
It's not a zero-sum game, right? There's only so much success, and you've got it. If you get it, someone else can't.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't aware of that. It's a real sense of if I go here, I'm taking up other people's space. But when I'm here, I can feel I'm not.
Right. So from there, you realize, like, hey, actually, there's plenty of space for all of us here.
True for all of us. Yeah.
It's not one flower blossoms, it doesn't stop another flower blossoming. Yeah. Okay, nice. Take a seat again if you like. Keep enjoying that if you prefer. So I think we worked relatively quick here because you're already sort of in the embodiment soup, you know. So any key insights from that? Let's really name them clearly and concisely.
The clearest insight, well, just feeling that sense of, it feels like there might be a bit of generational pattern in that wanting to be looked after. Mm-hmm. My dad, towards the end of his life, it became clear that he said something about the only time he really got love at school was when he was in the sanatorium. So illness was it was the only place he got love, and it feels like I hadn't connected that in myself.
Right, so maybe intergenerational kind of embodiment there, yeah.
And the other insight is that inside me, I'm holding a sense that when I take up my place in the world, I'm taking it from other people. But when I actually do that, I don't need to worry about that. There's room for all of us to take that place.
Yeah. And maybe let's just kind of drop those in a little bit. So if you're willing to put a hand in front of your heart. Maybe say something like that's true to you about this. Let's start with the first one about where you can get love and care.
Love and care is available in my world.
Okay, whether you take up space or not, right? That's the key piece here.
Yeah.
And actually, I heard even more is available when you take up space.
Yeah, in fact, yeah. So love and care is available when is even more available when I'm taking my place in life.
Got it. And which side is your dad on, left or right?
He's on my left. Okay,
so maybe turn to your left, just turn your head to your left. Is there something you want to say to your dad about this? Like, hey, I get that was true for you and something else is different for me, you know, like something like that. I don't want to put words in your mouth, so whatever's true for you.
So, Dad, I'm glad you got love somewhere and there was love available to you anyway. And now I'm freeing both of us from that pattern in the way I live my life.
Oh, I feel really touched when you say that. I'm almost in tears, actually. Like it's very beautiful, isn't it? That there's sometimes we have to do the healing the generation before us couldn't do. You know, like they pass on the problems for us to solve that they, you know, maybe would have been better if they'd have solved themselves, but maybe they didn't have the resources or the education that we've had, you know.
Yeah, he was a 7-year-old kid at boarding school, you know.
Yeah, doing the best he could and not realizing. Didn't have your kind of training in psychology and all sorts of things. Wow.
Beautiful.
That was the most intense 10 minutes of coaching I've done for a while. I feel like this is sort of super speed coaching. We have to drag out another 20 minutes now, Thea. I'm not sure what we're going to do. I think maybe it might be that it's enough actually for one.
Yeah, that feels good to me.
I think because we already had relationship and some trust, you know what I mean? Like I feel like we've sort of dived in there a little bit. And you know, I'm going to suggest, instead of jumping onto email or whatever, if you had half an hour aside for this, maybe just use 10 minutes to go for a walk out in the garden or have a lie down, you know, do some sort of rest or integration practice. You know, like a lot of this is not really something that you hear when you listen to coaching or see demos, because it's the part that we're not going to have a recording of 10 minutes of silence, right? But yeah, so do you have a garden there?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the sea through every bit of my house. So
the sea.
Yeah,
so maybe it's, you know, throw a stone in the sea or some sort of symbolic kind of closure on that. Letting go of that might be nice. And yeah, could be a nice kind of way to end it. And just, you know, if you've got this time aside in your diary and you've got nothing else, by definition, I'm sure you have nothing else booked in because we had half an hour booked. So maybe just use 10 minutes for that. How does that sound?
Beautiful. Yeah. Feels like a good way to just draw that line and fully step over it.
Yeah. I think as a coach, sometimes I worry that people have these big insights and they go straight on to doing their emails or their next phone call. And it's like the process has to involve some kind of completion that's maybe not obvious from.
Put a bit of autumn and winter in.
Exactly, in our cycles model. Yeah. Yes, I've learned you've done your homework this year. There you go. That centering was very good, by the way. And just for listeners who think I'm maybe being lazy, the reason I ask more experienced students to lead centering themselves is two reasons. One, to check they can do it themselves when I'm not around. And the second reason is it actually often goes in deeper when people lead it than when people receive it passively. So in case listeners are sort of thinking, why the hell did you do that yourself? Well, that's why. So good work, Thea. Great stuff. I'll see you very soon, actually, won't I?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. That was great.
All right, pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, so I have my next coachee. Would you mind saying your name, location, and what you do for a living?
Hi, I am Giovanni, and I am an engineer, and I live in Leeds.
Great. And can you say the contact we've had before, just so the sort of listeners know, you know, that we've had contact before, because there's a range of people coming on these.
The contact, you mean?
Yeah, like how have we met before?
Yes. Sorry. Well, I remember I knew you because I've done a course with you, a training course with you.
Yes, you did a one-day course, right?
No, I did a 3-day course.
The 3-day course, the full 3 days. Oh, it's the purpose course.
Yeah.
Great, a couple of years back. Okay,
nice course, very nice.
That's a nice little course, wasn't it? Well, it's important to sort of have an understanding of our content we've done before. So, and we've also been Facebook friends for a while, haven't we? Which is quite common.
Yeah,
follow me on Facebook, and sometimes they get offended, and sometimes they laugh, and then a certain percentage of them end up as students. So, yeah, it's nice to see you again.
Thank you, and nice to see you too as well.
Okay, so you sent me a list of sort of potential things. I'm thinking we do a bit of a brainstorming session around one of these challenges, like keep it quite simple. Is there one of those challenges you sent me that's kind of top of your mind right now to work on?
Yes. Well, basically, I am thinking to ask you how to build consistency and regularity when we start, for example, a new activity. Because some of my problems are around these topics. I have motivation in doing something, but sometimes I'm not able to build all the consistency for acquiring, for example, a new skill.
No problem. I mean, I know this subject pretty well, and that helping students acquire practices is a big part of what I do. But rather than just sort of teach you, it might be stickier if I coach you and you kind of generate some ideas for yourself, and then at the end you can decide if any of them are any good. How does that sound?
Yes, sounds okay to me.
Great. So listeners can't see this, but I can actually see you now. So you're on your phone, you've got your notepad there. So if you wouldn't mind putting your notepad down for the moment, we can always take some notes at the end.
Okay.
That.
Perfect.
And what I'd love to do is take you through the 4-element brainstorming process. So basically, this is a way for you to go into different embodiments, different ways of being. And from each of these embodiments, you may come up with new ideas. Some of them will be, you know, ideas you've thought of before, but others may be totally new that you never would have thought of before. The idea here is if we shift our state, we can shift what we see as possible. Because, you know, if you're in the same state all the time, you see what you've always seen and you don't need me. So how does that sound as a plan for the next 10 minutes?
Okay, yes.
Great. So let's start with earth, first of all. So putting your feet flat on the floor and palms down. And breathing deeply into the lower part of the belly. Yeah. And slowing everything down a little bit. Now with your hands, make a box shape. So you're an engineer making a very square, exact shape, being really clear on the angles. And slow it down even more. So you're making a box with your hands. That's very good. You can do all this sitting down. It's no problem. I'm going to show you the sitting down versions today. That's nice. So starting to get in tune with that very organized, structured part of you.
Is it important keeping the feet very...
Yeah, for being sort of grounded and earthy, if you can, keep that contact with the ground. Great. Keeping the breath low. Slowing it down even more. Making it even more precise. Okay, lovely. So from this kind of earthy square place, what ideas come up for you around how to sustain a practice?
How would I do, you mean?
So we're just brainstorming ideas. You don't have to do any of these. It's just to make a few ideas.
Right. I need time for this. I need time and because I am quite busy, that's the main problem for me. Time to arrange this activity, you know, time to dedicate.
So actually having time blocked out, dedicated for the activity.
Yes.
Not just sort of hoping it will happen, but really having some structure there in your diary, in your day.
Correct. This is what doesn't work for me.
Right. So this is what you've tried already and it hasn't worked. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. It may be that this is a sort of go-to for you. That wouldn't surprise me looking at your embodiment and knowing your work and having met you before. So maybe the other three give you more kind of leverage. So let's try the other three, I think. Yeah. Okay, so shift your weight, shift your movement. This time, really lean back in the chair. Open your arms out so the palms are forwards this time. Soften everything up. Soften the jaw, soften the belly. Really say, ah. Yeah. Yeah, being a bit more fluid. Say yes in your first language.
Si.
Si. Say it like si.
Si, yes.
Yeah, like, you know, you're somewhere nice and warm in Italy. Maybe the seats there. You're having some nice food. You relax.
Yeah, in the sun. Yeah,
in the sun. That's nice. Yeah, really soften the body. And yeah, say yeah.
Yeah.
Opening up the hands. Opening up the hands. This may be a little more of a challenge. You can stop, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. As you know from working with me, you know, you're the boss. If it's something you don't want to do, you don't have to do it.
Okay.
But, this is just an option.
Trying to do it, you know. I just don't want to be awkward. But yes, I'm trying.
It's okay.
It's working.
Okay, yeah. And no one can see you, remember. So it's just, you know, you're doing it yourself. Okay. So from this more open place, are there any other ideas that come up from this more fluid, kind of watery open place?
Yeah. You need to be enjoyable, actually. You know, I need to enjoy.
Make it pleasurable.
Yeah.
So good Italian answer. That's good to hear. Yeah. So how could you make the practice pleasurable? Could become a way to do it more, right? Because ultimately we do what we enjoy. Like you don't have to tell a kid to practice football. They just like playing football. They'll do it, right? It's just very easy to do. You don't have to tell me to practice having bubble baths because I like having bubble baths, right? Yeah, so that's a good idea. Let's make another rewardery question. Can you connect anyone else, other human beings, to help you to establish a practice?
Well, maybe yes, because maybe, but I wouldn't say I will rely on this only for being.
No, I mean, it could be a support, right? Like people have a gym buddy, or they have someone that they get together with. Being social around it, right? That might be another option. It's just like that's not appealing to you. No.
It's just for what I have in mind. Well, basically, it will be about music practice at the end.
Okay. Okay.
Specifically, this what I was thinking is music practice.
Yeah.
So specifically, is like acquire some new skills that I need to acquire, like I don't know, dexterity skills and things like this in playing guitar. And so I don't think having people around probably will be beneficial.
Okay, no problem. We're just looking at ideas here, so we don't need to evaluate the ideas right now. We're just getting out possible ideas. And one more from this: roll your shoulders a couple of times. Roll your shoulders, and just imagine you're in that hot sun or in that warm sea, and you're just letting go a little bit. Maybe saying, "Ah." Yeah, so what do you need to let go of around this idea of developing a practice?
So is this a new form, a new type of, is still the previous
another
one?
way of playing with water, this more relaxed fluid quality?
Well, it needs to be, powerful for me. Yeah, that I would enjoy if it's, how can I say, powerful? Yeah, this is what I want from this.
Okay, so that's going to help you enjoy it. So we're back to enjoyment here. This may be a key for you, actually. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go fiery then. So shift in your chair, have a little wiggle, have a little shake that off. Now come forwards in your chair a little bit. Okay. So leaning forwards, looking directly ahead. Pointing ahead, point ahead. Like point with your hand, that's it. Okay, then do this with your hand. Hitting one hand against each other like a knife chopping on a board, yeah? Finding that, breathing into the chest, tightening your muscles a little bit, having that sense of power, forwards movement. Okay, how can you bring that energy into this? Stay there, stay in that way of being. What is that way of being, this fiery way of being? What does that have to say about developing practice? What's the tip there?
I don't know. Help me more.
Find that. So breathing in deeply, looking ahead, finding that like warrior kind of fierceness. So from
right, I got you now.
From that place, what does it say about developing a practice?
Yeah, it needs to be quite dynamic, if it makes sense. Quite not focused, but quite sharp. I mean,
sharp.
Strong, sharp, quick, fast.
Okay, something strong, sharp, quick. Something you can just do quickly that has an impact. Yeah, it doesn't have to take long.
I'm probably talking about the movement. The movement I need to learn how strong, quick, sharp, fast.
So we're developing ideas now about how to develop a practice. That's the key thing here, yeah? How does back bend slightly? Do this slight back bend here. So put your hand on your heart, kind of rub that area a little bit, and then take a back bend. So I think we did this before in the purpose workshop you came to, like finding passion, right? This is definitely something that applies to that too. So how can passion help with this? Let your head go back. Let your head go back. Be a bit less English. You've been here too long.
No passion. Yeah, you're right. Maybe this will help. Yes. Be a bit more warm. Yeah, warm. Doing this warm in the sense of not being too much strict.
So it doesn't have to be strict or dry. It can be that warm, can be enjoyable.
Yeah.
You said before, okay, so you've said enjoyable and warm. So there's a couple of things there that may be useful. Yeah.
Yes. That will help.
Nice. Do you feel that like yes in your body? Like, okay, great. It feels like there's an intuitive yes there. That's interesting. And just one more on the fire then. Put your hand up in front of you like you were blocking someone. Yeah. What do you need to, fingers together? What do you need to say no to develop this practice?
Yeah. I need to keep it like I need to keep my vision on this. I don't want to be influenced by negative comments, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, so if people are saying you can't do it or don't bother or something like that, you need to be able to hold that boundary.
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah.
Good. Nice. Okay, little shake, little wriggle, little move. Have a move in the chair, just to shift the embodiment a bit.
Can I wake up? Not wake up. Can I
stand up? Yeah, sure. Yeah. You need to, man.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes I do this standing, but it's just so I kind of demo doing it in a chair because some clients, it's more normal, as you prefer. Okay, this one, reach up, look up, reach up. Yeah, say wow. That's it. Laugh. You can laugh. You can have fun. There we go. Good more.
Yeah.
Nice. Say something in Italian that's like fun. And like Italian's a good language.
No. I'm not going to say.
You're not good. Come on, embarrass yourself live on the internet. It's okay if you don't want it. Okay, so move your hands around. Keep moving your hands. Maybe this is a challenge for you, that's one, but keep there. Keep trying it if you're willing to. And imagine you're like painting rainbows with your hands. You're like, if you look up, imagine like God's testicles and you're just like tickling the underneath of them.
Come on, please. Yeah.
There we go.
Are we debating about, God, gender? What are we doing?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just an image. I just wanted to give you something silly and fucked up to make you laugh.
It was good. It was good.
So
it was
that's
very good.
I'm a fucked up coach. You know that. You've met me before. Okay, so from this like silly fun place of just sort of being silly and laughing and crazy ideas, what comes up for the practice?
Yeah, I'd like to keep this state actually. Yeah, this is a good place to be when I'm practicing. Yeah. Yes. So creativity, yes, creativity here is very, very good for me. Being creative, yeah.
So being able to be creative, maybe to have fun, to lighten the fuck up sometimes, right? Like not always treating it like, because you were trying to do it seriously before, this very earthy way, and you said that's not working. Like taking it too seriously, and then you've talked about pleasure, you've talked about warmth, you've talking about fun here, like lightness. Maybe there's some other approaches.
Yes. Makes sense. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So is there any of those that really stand out? You don't have to like commit to them now. This is just a short session, so you don't have to kind of say, I'm going to do this and get accountability. But, just for now, like, are there any of those that you go, yeah, that really jumped out at me as something like a new approach to this? Which one? Is there one you want to write down or you want to say, I need to remember that one?
Yeah, I mean, all of them were very, very good. I still need to keep that initial, structure.
Nothing wrong with that, but it's not going to do it on its own, is it? Right?
No, exactly.
You've discovered that already.
So yeah, adding, what did you say? Adding passion, adding fun. What did you say? Adding also movement, sharpness, quick, and creativity. Yeah. Yes, all of them. I mean, all of them look very good at the end.
Great. And is there one in particular that you think might be helpful? I mean, we sort of turned you into like a Swiss Army person, from just doing things like an earthy engineer, and now we've sort of opened up a few new possibilities here. So is there any one of them that you're like, I think that one would be the key?
The latest one we tried is still I'm still feeling very sorry about creativity about it's still I feel it's very very powerful at this moment.
Pleasure also jumped out at you before, didn't it?
Yeah.
This idea of actually it being enjoyable, right? So creativity, maybe pleasure as well. There, you know, I don't want to put it in your mouth here, but it's like there's. I feel like that was one that jumped out at you before, and then you said this one at the end, like pleasure, having fun with it, being creative with it. Rather.
No, yes, you're right. Yes, that was very good as well. Yeah, but really, all of them, all the things we tried, yes, you know, felt quite good, actually.
Okay, so bear in mind you can shift into these modes. All you need to do is shift your posture. We didn't do anything crazy, right? We just kind of like moved a little bit, breathed a little bit different. So these are shifts. If you find yourself like needing that more creativity, like what can you do? How can you move?
Yeah. Moving, yes, doing the same way we just did, like expanding, reaching, you know, in vertical movement. What? So yeah. The movement in this direction was okay. I feel it's all right. Especially yes, when I am quite. I think it will work a lot.
Great. Well, there's an option for you. You know, it's your body. So anytime you want to go there, you can. And you may have this habit of being quite solid, quite down to earth, quite structural. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's, you know, given your job, that makes sense, right? That's you got an engineer who's all over the place. Like, hey, you know, you want an engineer who's solid, who's concrete. You're not an architect, right?
Yeah,
so it's like, you know, you've got that skill, but then being able to build some range, not to lose that, but to add other possibilities.
Yes.
For this or for anything else you want, right? It doesn't just apply to this. It can be for anything else you want.
I mean, still, it will be still about what we tried. So yes, this thing about passion, we said. So warmth, and making this enjoyable. So yes, I will say I will keep this, and but also movement is very important, and being fast, strong, and also we discussed about also the keeping out some negative influences.
Right. So even if you can't put your hand up like that, you can just imagine that. So sometimes in life, someone's like, you know, talking some bullshit, being negative to you, trying to bring you down, discourage you, and you can just imagine that shape. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Like the say no.
Yeah, and they'll feel that refusal. It's very difficult to keep going when someone's got that going on. It's like even just in their mind, because it will subtly come out in your body.
Yes.
We call that a micro posture. Yeah. Okay, we're almost on time here. Do you have any other thoughts on practices or anything you wanted to ask to wrap up?
I mean, yes, if you can give like very, you know, we discussed about these variations, say in you know, probably in purpose, intention, and movement. I mean, in a day-to-day routine, how would you suggest to build this literally?
To build which? Sorry, which? What?
To build. Because yes, we were talking about finding time to build this in a daily schedule at the end.
Yeah.
So
there's lots I could say about this. I did a whole podcast on practice, and there's different potential issues. For some people, it's not feeling motivated, so it's reconnecting to passion. For some people, it's not being organized enough. So that's reconnecting more to that structure and earth. And just, you know, some students, I'm just like, let's put some things in your diary, you know, let's get organized. Maybe you don't lack that, but some people do. For some people, it's like lacking that boundary of being able to say no to other stuff. You know, that's really important. For some people, it's just being able to have fun with it or lighting up with it so it doesn't just become a chore. You know, it's like, how does this actually be a joy or a game, or how do I make this play? That can be really useful for some people. So if someone says to me, hey, I'm struggling with my morning meditation, I'm struggling getting my yoga practice going, which is really normal. And I just want to say, you know, very few people are like straight out the bag with this. One thing I'd say you may have underestimated a bit before is the powers of like communities of practice, which may not have been useful for you in this case, but for many people, it's super useful to get together with other meditators.
Yes.
Meditate on your own, or, you know, to get together in the gym with other people, you know, it just inspires you. And then there's the power of place as well as the power of people. So it's like a set time and place where you have it sort of ritualized can really help. So, I mean, maybe people listening can, you know, if they're interested in this topic, can look at my podcast on practice, but there's a whole load I could say about this, but I hope that gives you a few little tips, as it were, there of some common things that I come across.
Mm-hmm.
And some students, I just say, just find something you can fall in love with and that you enjoy, you know, because if there's passion, if there's love for it, then everything else later, you know.
No, yeah. Sounds very good. Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Okay. Always a pleasure. Nice to see you again. Maybe I'll see you up in Leeds when I'm up for that dance.
Oh, yes.
Dancing in a couple of months, so we can swap details about that. So thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark. And thanks for your time as well. Bye.
Some ways to get more, to give back, and to get more involved now. So the biggest request I have would be to share the podcast with your friends, people that you think would really enjoy it. Email it to them, put it on your social media, tell them about it, old school. Really appreciate that. Equally, if you want to support us financially, you can go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/embodiment podcast and give us $1 an episode. And I'd say they're well worth $1. So that's less than £1 if you're in UK-ish. So yeah, please go there. On the embodifacilitator.com website is where this is hosted. If most people I think listen to for iTunes. iTunes, we'd certainly appreciate a review. The way iTunes works means that a review means more people will find it. iTunes regards it as more important for searches. So even a couple of sentences review really does help as a little thank you to us. And if you want to go to embodifacilitator.com, you can see the actual, you know, links to the sites. There's comments on there. The Facebook group tends to be where people discuss things. So if you go to put in the Embodiment podcast into Facebook, there's a page which is relatively quiet and a group which does have some discussion on. So I will reply to things personally there. So also on embodifacilitator.com website, there's all sorts of freebies there. There's videos, there's free ebooks, there's ebooks you can buy. And of course, there's our newsletter list. If you want to stay in touch and learn about things like the Embodied Facilitator course and our next Embodied Yoga Principles teacher training, then go to that website and you'll see a little pop-up and you can get the newsletter through there. Okay, so I think they're the main ones. Tell your friends, pay us some money on Patreon, give us a review on iTunes, send us your email if you want to be on the newsletter list, and get involved on the Facebook there. Bit long. Pick whatever you like that works for you.
Till next time, welcome home to the body.